Good evening and good evening, every pony and every creature. Got tongue-tied there. This is Drada Arcana at Drada Arcana Gaming. Welcome to tonight's stream. This is going to be an interesting one. So we have reached stream number 20. Number 20. Oh yeah. So tonight's something special. I want to give back to all of you good ponies and creatures out there that have been following me up to this point and been supporting me all along. So I put a thing out there saying, ask me anything, and no one decided to ask questions. So I was like, alright, well, what can we talk about for 30 minutes to an hour? Well, I guess we have updates. That's about it, though. I'm pretty tired. I've been working with the players in my area for Continentals. Yes, if you did not know, Continentals is coming up here in the next week for North America, taking place at Ponyville Cider Fest. Well, Ponyville Cider Fest is going to be fun. I will be there for the convention. I will be playing in the Continental Championship. And I will be doing also vlogs for those, for that convention. So next week we won't have a stream. Just so you all know, that's part of my update today, is we will not be having a stream next week because I will not be able to set up the stream Sunday night because I'll probably be going to bed early to get ready to leave on Monday. Also, I will be enjoying the con full-heartedly, and I will probably be entirely exhausted from Continentals. So that's the major update. We will not be streaming next week. I will be doing another vlog. Alright, with that out of the way, mentioning Ciderfest and stuff, and its ponies. I unfortunately am not feeling too well recently. I had gotten my flu shot, and I've been feeling a little under the weather. So my throat is kind of hurting at the moment a little bit. I've been talking with ponies all day and everything. But good news. I finally got myself a furry tail made in the color scheme of my OC that I will be bringing to Ciderfest. I'm super excited. I love it. The person that made it did a fantastic job. So I'm really happy about that. Okay, the deck I've been working on, or at least trying to master for Continentals, is Chaos Control. So I will be running Chaos Control at the tournament. I've taken a look at a lot of the meta players, and I've done some very thorough investigating of Continentals. So I kind of know what to sort of expect. I'm guessing that 50% of the people will be running some variation of aggro. I just have a feeling that that's pretty much what's going to be the board. I mean, because it's in core, there's no set formula to what people will actually be running. Like, the meta decks for core are like really hard to build and really expensive. But I saw the promo for Continentals. It's a promo Staff of Sakanis. Like, that is like the best promo we could have gotten. I know that there had been a lot of rumors circulating around that the promo was going to be a Staff of Sakanis for Continentals this year. It was nice to have that confirmed, but it's not just the promo for Continentals. Everyone participating in Continentals will receive a promo Staff of Siccanus. Stick times 30, people. Twilight is super happy to see Staff of Siccanus to be the promo. Well, I don't know if she's super happy because it stole her Alicorn magic, but the artwork on it looks gorgeous, and I'm super excited to get at least maybe one copy of that. Also, I think they just received enough people to have it where it's going to go to top 16. I'm not sure on that, so don't quote me on that. So yeah. So this stream, maybe, a lot of my viewers are wondering kind of a little bit more about Drada. Well, I figured I'd share some background story of myself. It's been posted in a couple areas before, but maybe not everyone has seen my background or the history of my name and kind of my Alicorn, or even just, who I am in general. A lot of people have been watching my streams, I've noticed. You guys do pay attention to my stuff, and I'm very thankful that you do. You don't have to. I mean, you guys could be like, Drada, you're the most annoying person ever. And be like, but Drada, your streams are terrible. And I'm going to be like, but I figured that this stream, if no one had any questions, I'd kind of go into a little bit more about, my background and my backstory a little bit. Even if it's just about the character or me personally. So let's approach my name first. Drada Arcana. So I'm going to try to keep this story as PG as possible. Because it's kind of an interesting backstory. When I was in college, that was many years ago. It was my first semester in college. The year was 2009. At the time, I was fiddling around with the gamer name, and it's my old gamer tag, called Damonra Kata, spelled Damonra Kata, Kata. Now, Damonra Kata, underneath certain languages and re-lettering of the word Damonra, basically stands for flower dance. So my gamer tag was flower dance. This all would have been fine and dandy. Get it? Because dandy lion is a flower. Anyways, at the time, it must have been November of that same year, I had became a World of Warcraft gamer. I was already a fairly big gamer, but around that time, I started really playing video games, specifically World of Warcraft. And my first character's name was Damonra. And people were taking the first three letters of my name. So, to define the word damn, D-A-M, is basically something to block, to prevent water from entering a specific area, or to pretty much dam up to prevent water flow. Hence the word dam. But people were using this as an excuse to use that word consecutively. This went on for, 2 to 3 years. I had a YouTube channel by the name of Damonra Kata, which still exists. I just don't check it anymore. And I had done some videos as that. And about 5 years ago, I was thinking that my gamer tag, I needed to change it. And I said, I'm tired of this gamer tag. So I decided to shorten it to Drata Arcana. At the time, I was messing around on a video game on my PlayStation Portable. Heck, now there's an old system for you. Well, in this day and age, it's old. There was a game called Lord of Arcana. I started playing that when I wasn't playing WoW, and my character name in it was Drata. So I changed my gamer tag in World of Warcraft, changed it over to Drata Arcana, and basically that ended up sticking. Now, if you're not sure what Drata stands for, it says, I will drag. So Arcana stands for Secrets and Mysteries. So basically my name now translates to, I will drag all of your secrets and mysteries. Which I like, because I'm very good at that as a person. Now that we kind of have that squared away, originally I was using a dragon as my OC. When I moved over, so back in August of last year, I became at that point I had became a guild master of my own guild. I was also the raid leader for my guild, and we had managed to be one of the 5 guilds to down the first boss of the newest raid and stuff. I was solely invested in World of Warcraft. Then I found out that most of my guild were bronies. So I decided to watch the show to prevent myself from being ignorant of the show. And then I ended up really enjoying it. And I had my OC changed from a dragon to an actual alicorn, to the one that you see now. I became very invested in the brony community, and I had learned that there was a CCG. Now here's where we change things from my gamer tag over to my actual background. I started in the TCG, CCG world with Yu-Gi-Oh! I was a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player. I have played in several local tournaments. I played halfway semi-competitive. I just never really had the desire to go full competitive in any game. I also was being kind of semi-competitive with Magic. And I had played Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! For years. As of about almost a year ago, I was looking for a new TCG. I was looking to get out of Magic. I was looking to get out of Yu-Gi-Oh! I just didn't have the money to really dedicate my life to that. Plus, they were very disinterested. I was very disinterested in those 2 games. Having played them for years, they were becoming stale to me. So I started looking for a new card game. I had recently really enjoyed watching the episodes, and I was looking for more pony content. And I discovered the CCG, and I have loved it ever since. So now I stepped away completely from Yu-Gi-Oh! I have Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, but I barely touched them. And I probably feel bad for doing that. A lot of the new mechanics in that game really made me disinterested. So I don't normally lose disinterest in any type of game. It is really hard to make me uninvested in a game. But once that happens, if you've paid attention to my video game stuff, or even some of my other content, if I lose interest in a game, there's a good reason for it. So I decided to get interested in ponies, and I have loved this game ever since. This is my game that I love dearly. Now, I still will release video content. I just got 3 new games, 3 new video games. I have them on pre-order right now. I will be doing a video on one of them probably after Cider Fest. Um, and I really enjoy making content about the MLPCCG. When I started checking around to see what was out there, I decided to start my channel. Not the least of which, now here's where I go a little bit more into who I am as a person versus me as a gamer, and as you guys um, know who I am as I am, and the craziness that is Drada Arcana. Let me be real. I don't like being real. Twilight, do you want me to be real? No? No? Well, I'm gonna be real anyways, Twilight. Drada's going crazy. He always goes crazy, right? um, my degree, my actual college degree, is in a degree called Environmental Writing and Media Studies with a focus on biodiversity. That's my actual college degree, folks. If you were wondering what I studied, that is what I studied. I studied writing and media production as it relates to science and ecology. So, if you get me talking about the environment at a con or something, just know I am going to be very passionate about that topic, and I'm probably going to know a little bit more than probably most other people because I studied that. My actual degree was in understanding climate and its impact on the various species on the planet, which means I should have more in connection with Fluttershy because I happen to care a lot for all the outside critters and stuff. And I have a real passion for animals and everything, you know, wildlife, plants. I have a real love for all of that. And I really should connect with Fluttershy more, but I am still more of a science person. So you all might have, every pony here might have heard me talk a little bit about how I've been exhausted from work and everything, and probably someone was wondering, you know, oh, what does Drada do for a living? You know, what does he do career-wise? Well, are you ready for this? I work for the Indiana Department of Environmental Management in the Office of Water Quality. This is my day job. This is like my week job. It's a full-time job with the state of Indiana. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I tend to get exhausted from that job because I'm dealing with all these facilities across the entire state. And it's a lot of work. So for me to find time to put in these streams, like tomorrow, I have to be up by 5 a.m. That's every time after these streams. I have to be up really early in the morning. And, you know, feel free to ask anything. You know, right now I'm just going over kind of what I think people would want to hear about me personally. Feel free to ask me, like, anything while during this stream. And just go ahead and post it in the stream chat or whatever. And I'm paying attention to that this stream a lot closer than I normally do, in case if anyone has any questions. You know, like what I'm probably working on for the future. But anyways, back to a little bit about myself that you guys maybe didn't hear about or don't know. But what I do is I do something called data compliance for the Office of Water Quality. That's my day job. And what I do is that I review all the water treatment data that comes in from all the facilities. So I'm doing a lot of math and I'm working with a lot of odd numbers and acronyms all the time. And probably it's one of the reasons why I'm so good at, why I'm getting better at the MLPCCG, is because a lot of it is what I do on a regular basis, or what I do already for work and stuff. So I just wanted to let you guys know kind of like what I do and stuff in real life, and kind of the backstory behind my OC a little bit. Now, I did promise that I would give you guys at one point the backstory to my OC. And if you guys really want to know the backstory that I came up with, I would be glad to share it. Now, I did say that I would have to go top 8 at least at a tier 3 tournament before I revealed it. Well, I've been holding it from you guys because there was a tier 3 tournament at Gen Con. I came in 7th, so I topped 8 it. So I feel like that now's a good time to let you guys know the little backstory behind Drata Arcana and his Alicornism. Are you guys ready for this story? I'm going to blow your minds with this, but Drata Arcana represents, his cutie mark is supposed to represent the Star of Destiny. That is his cutie mark. He's known as the aspect of destiny. Okay, that seems like really ridiculous for probably many bronies out there. But hold on. He also does not live in Equestria. He lives in another time and another world, basically. Well, same world, but different time. The main 6 that we see in the show and stuff will have never crossed my Alicorn OC. My Drata Arcana was originally from thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years before the finding of Equestria. And his Alicornism doesn't come from the fact that he became he became an Alicorn. But my backstory to him is that he was a unicorn that kept absorbing magic power. Somehow he had this trait that just let him absorb magic power from somewhere. And in order to stop him from absorbing too much magic power, which, first off, when you intake enough magic power, you're basically, the ponies can't have that much magic power within them without evolving into Alicornism, is kind of how I feel like that it sort of works, based on what I've seen of the show and based on what I've seen of other things. And done some reading and stuff. So he basically became an Alicorn because he was absorbing too much magic power and not releasing any of it. Okay. And you're probably all wondering, well, if that's true, that's fine. But what's up with the bracelets? You're probably all wondering what those 2 bracelets on his front hooves are. And if you guessed that they had magical properties, you would be right. Drata Arcana has 2 magic bracelets that do 2 different things. In the time period that Drata is originally from, there were these armors designed to either enhance and amplify the magic of the user, allowing spells to be a lot stronger and more powerful. Because during his time, they didn't use innate magic, they used essentially natural magic or wild magic, or chaos magic, basically. magic that existed on the outside. So, in order to channel that energy, he had this armor that would equip itself to him through utilizing the bracelets to amplify this magic, to allow him to absorb more of it and discharge more of it to prevent himself from essentially overloading with magic energy. That's one of the bracelets. The other one is a crown that at the time, so this is where I'm probably going to get a lot of flack from like the Chrysalis and Changeling fans, and even those that are really big fans of the pillars. 3 stones. Drada Arcana basically made 3 stones. And I call them the stones. Well, I haven't come up with a full name for the stones yet. I've just been going with, like, stones of creation. Because why not? It just sounds cool. But that's not really what they are. So, the Changeling Throne, the Darkstone tablet that Queen Chrysalis has, is something that Drada basically created to call the Void Stone, which absorbs magic energy. It actually absorbs magic energy. Then he has something called the Might Stone, or the Amplification Stone, which was designed to take magic from the Void Stone to enhance the power of any natural wild magic, and to make it more powerful, to make it have like a conscience or whatever. And then then there was a third stone known as the Realm Stone, which basically is able to open portals between time, space, and existence. But in some forgotten battle, Drada Arcana had to banish the 3 stones to seal himself in time. And that's where his story essentially comes to an end. And I'd love it if a fanfic writer could write something about the main 6, like finding the Alicorn of Destiny. Ooh, that'd be interesting. Anyways, that's kind of his backstory and a little bit about, you know, what he is as an individual Alicorn and his source of Alicornism. I'm not sure if that's actually going to fly too well in the community, but hey, that's the story I came up with, and that's the story I'm sticking with. Sounds too much like Avengers Infinity War, or, you know, something ridiculously over the top. Probably is. Whatever, don't judge. You could be like, but Drada, that story is terrible. That backstory is horrible. And I'd probably agree with you. Alright. Now, I can continue talking about, you know, my OC forever. But I really would like to get some questions and stuff. But that's fine. I guess we could talk about something else. For example, Drada's deck building method. One of the questions I got hammered with by a pony player friend of mine, and I'd like to bring it up, is he seemed to notice that during draft, specifically Sequestria draft, that I seemed to come up with some really efficient decks. So one of the things he asked me is, what's your strategy when building in Sequestria? Because I seem to always run like 4 to 5 colors, and they tend to be really efficient and very fast decks. So I figured I'd share that this episode a little bit. My first step is, after I pull open my packs, I look for all the cards that I have that color fix. Now, when I say color fix, I mean colorless friends and resources that will allow me to color fix. If I get 3 or 4 And that's usually an indication that I could potentially go 3 to 4 color. And this is for draft and stuff for MLP CCG. And then I look at how many of the Joyous ponies or each of the individual ponies I have and what I got. Then I'll look at all my other stuff. Now, based on what you pull, looking at what you could potentially use in it, you have to decide, how you want to build it. Now, I will note that you look for the friends that generally are considered a little too powerful for draft, and those cards are really easy to find. Shoeshine is one. Party Mare, Living It Up is another. I look for things like, what multicolors did I pull? Did I get a Treading Water? Because if the answer to any of those is yes, I generally try to run all of them. And that usually puts me at pink, orange, yellow, blue. So that's 4 colors right there. And I try to see, what copies of each thing I've had. And I tend to build very efficient decks from that. Because you can't just build 2 color or even 3 color sometimes in draft. The best way to do it is to build multiple colors and so forth. And that can be a real challenge. But there's generally cards that in Sequestria or even DOE that are considered more powerful than others. And you look for those cards because draft is different from constructed. And the powerhouse cards in constructed will not be the same as in draft. Like, Party Mare Living It Up is probably one of the strongest cards in the current draft format. Simply because 1 AT, to have it bounce around every turn with little to no interruption to it. There's like 1 card in DOE draft that could interrupt it. There's no other interruptions to Living It Up. And the odds of you going up against someone that did pull a belly flop is going to be slim to none. So feel free. I would always suggest running Party Mare Living It Up. Mostly because that thing's going to cost you 1. You can color fix it real easily. And so I always hope to pull one of those. If I don't pull a Living It Up, I look to see what else I have. Sorry guys, I'm throat's dry a little bit and I didn't think to put water near me. Interesting. So bear with me as my throat keeps like cracking. So usually what I'll do is I will build around what I kind of have. Now, if I pull a Storm King, the one that exhausts for 2 AT when you move an opposing friend, and I pull a Spike Festival Assistant with a Twilight and Spike Ultimate Organizer, I generally will run those 3. And why wouldn't you? Together, all 3 together, gives you a free 3 movements. 3 movements. I once had a draft where I pulled 2 Storm Kings with 2 Twilight and Spikes and 2 Festival Assistants. Needless to say, all 6 of those ended up in my deck. And why? Because I also decided to throw in Feel the Beat just so I could run Party Mare. And Feel the Beat was basically making it so I would move 2 of my friends, and the next card I play costs 2 less. And then I gain back all my AT that I lost for paying that 2. So I was basically moving 2 of my opponent's friends, regaining 2 AT for that move. And then, needless to say, I won that draft because I knew what was ideal. It is always going to depend on what you pull, but always pray to get a party mare. Because if you do pull a party mare, I would always suggest trying to find a way to run it. Even if you're just splashing for that card. Because it's just so powerful in draft. So anyways, that's kind of what I do, is I know which key cards are going to be good in draft. And treading waters, there are certain cards in Sequestria that are just so good that they just blow everyone's mind. Treading Water, Applejack and Fluttershy Treading Water is one. Shoeshine is another. Hey, Fan Man. Nice to see ya. So, feel free to ask anything. I am doing Q&A. I am answering people's questions. So, anyways, yeah, so that's kind of my thinking behind draft. Now, I've been asked a lot of different questions over the time and stuff, one of which was someone asked me, how do I organize my cards? So, let's go into that. Fan Man and I, back in BronyCon, had a game together. And I saw his Frightened deck. I liked it. Nightmare Moon was a fun main to play against, and his deck definitely had a lot more Frightened than I had originally anticipated. I was using a deck, a blue-purple deck that I had built on stream. It wasn't the best deck in the world, but it was definitely a fun game. He ended up winning, trying to remember the score, but yeah, the Nightmare Moon main is a pretty scary main once you get it running. And actually, Fan Man, I should tell you, I'm running that Frightened deck right now in Silver Spanner with Nightmare Moon. It's been pretty good. I mean, I'm 1-1, but the other person was running a meta Hot Wings deck, so I was kind of just like, well, that's pretty much over. So, Fan Man's version was a lot more fun because it was running Changeling Drone, which meant that for every single Frightened friend, he had a friend with +2 power. That is a lot of power for a Frightened deck, especially one that's going to be frightening continuously. Now, I would prefer Babseed. It is -1 power, but it does have the ability, the cutie mark, to frighten. But Changeling Drone is just as good because it does give +2 power, but it doesn't have the ability to frighten itself. And it can still overpower. And the point is that you overpower everything. Now, Torch is like mandatory in Frightened because it's 4 power for 4 AT for 4 blue rec. And basically what it does is that, and yes, Changeling Drone is definitely more power. Power! Loyalty power! I do like Rainbow Dash a lot. But I find that maintaining your Frightened state. Now, cards like Socipital Attack, Prince Rutherford, Rainbow Dash Pony Pirate is probably one of the best frightening cards we've gotten in a while. because every time you move it, you frighten a friend. Now, I built a deck. It's more aggro-ish than frighten. So what it does is that it's a mono blue frightening deck where it runs 3 Staff of Saconis. You might have seen the deck on Commentarius Magic's stream on Patron Deck Submittals. So what this deck is called, it's called Nightmare Moon Finds a Stick. Oh, scary. Because Staff of Saconis is another frightened card. So the way the deck works is that you get Wildfire in play. And then you get a Pony Pirate into play. And every time you move Wildfire, you get to frighten something. So basically the idea is bounced around where you just move Wildfire a bunch of times to frighten everything. It makes it so you only have to move 1 friend to move 2. And it's just a lot of fun to play. But it also has things like Torch, Babseed, Socipital Attack, Prince Rutherford, Staff, and then of course you have Nightmare Moon. So it's a fun deck, and frightening is a lot of fun, despite being a very confusing mechanic, which I will talk about frighten on a different stream. There's a lot of information there and a lot of confusion. I just got questions today about frighten, actually. Consecutive questions about frighten, because apparently frighten is a complicated mechanic. Doesn't make any sense to people, but I will explain it on another time. So anyways, yeah, that was a fun game between myself and FanMan, and we definitely had a blast during that game. That was one of the most fun games I had played in a while. It's always interesting to see Frighten come back. And a lot of people really love the Frighten concept. And I will tell you that frightening is very, very hard on some of the meta decks. Like, the meta decks were not made to deal with Frighten because they don't anticipate going up against Frighten. They're not prepared for it because it's outside of the meta right now for core. So I anticipate some people might be running Frighten at Continentals this year, but I will definitely be running Chaos Control, which has Frightening in it because Rainbow Dash Zap is a very... yes, yes, FanMan did make me sweat during that game. I was worried. I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? I will say, though, that Torch definitely helped me get back into the game. Torch really helped me there. But, yeah, that was a fun game, and I was definitely worried, like, oh no, what's going to happen? So, yeah, great game, FanMan, and, yeah. Oh, yes. So, in Sequestering Beyond, we got a resource called Pirate Ship, which for 1 AT, you put this resource into play, you could pay 1 to move a friend. Well, here's the thing, though. With Wildfire from Premier and Rainbow Dash Pony Pirate, for 1 AT, you can move 2 characters, which allows you to frighten a friend. Or you can just move Pirate Rainbow Dash, which also frightens a friend, because Rainbow Dash specifically states when you move this card, you may frighten a friend. So what you do is that you could play something like Called in the Dream Cavalry or use Pirate Ship, and you could basically bounce Rainbow Dash Pony Pirate around. Basically, for every 1 AT, you basically frighten something, which is really, really good. So, yeah. I love Pirate Dash. I actually like it. I like Pirate Dash more than Rutherford, even though Rutherford is an immediate frighten, which is kind of better in this meta than Rainbow Dash Pony Pirate. But I like Pony Pirate for the fact that it's a continuous frighten. So you can constantly frighten with it. Despite Rutherford being a one cast where you just play it and you frighten something, Rainbow Dash, it's you play it, move it like 3 to 4 times. That's 3 to 4 more friends you can frighten than Rutherford. That's just my reasoning behind it. But it really depends a lot of times the deck you're trying to build and what you're trying to accomplish. Now, I've been working on some other decks, been testing around with things like combo, and that. So I have some interesting decks now that I'd really like to test and stuff. I'll be bringing a whole bunch of decks to Ciderfest because I'm planning on getting in a lot of games. I'm also planning on hitting the vendor hall as much as possible this time. I want to pick some things up from the vendor hall and everything. I have money. I have everything saved up. So I'm super excited. Now, I want to go back and step away from decks for a second and talk a little bit more about, maybe you guys have other questions and stuff like who's best princess. Well, my immediate reaction to that is Princess Luna. But feel free to debate that one. We all know that I really, really love Princess Luna, and I have like 6 different playmats with Princess Luna on it. If you will be at Ciderfest, I will be wearing my OC's tail. So if you see a guy with a white and blue tail, it's me. It's Drada. Also, if you've seen me at any of the other cons, you know what I look like. So yeah. So yeah, I will definitely be there. I will be there from like Thursday to Monday. I'm coming home Monday. So I'm going to be there quite a while. Basically to the end. Yeah. So, I'm definitely going to be going to opening ceremonies. Thursday, I'm definitely going to be doing some final deck checks for Continentals and so forth. So I'm working on that. I have my Pauper deck built, so I'll be playing in the Pauper tournament and I'll be in the draft. So I'll pretty much probably be hanging out in the CCG room like 90% of the time while at the con. I mean, if you guys want to know anything else about me, whether it's my personal life or, how I got the Indianapolis group recovered. Now, there's a story. I should actually go into this for you guys, in case if you're wondering how to get a play group reignited. Because one of the struggles in this game is a lot of play groups have disappeared. And that was the case with the Indianapolis group here in Indianapolis. So for 3 years, this group had ceased to exist for 3 years. There was no one in it. No one was playing. And we didn't have anyone, basically. So you might have heard me talk a lot about the Indianapolis group, which is what I run and stuff. Well, we had 6 pony players show up today for a non-tournament meetup. A non-tournament meetup. So how did I accomplish this? Because it's pretty much all my hard work, not to brag or anything, but it was pretty much my hard work to get this group up and running. Okay. The month was, December. I was still looking for people to play this game with. I had just read the rule book, granted the premier rule book, which was so out of date it wasn't even funny. I was digging around looking for people to play against. I eventually posted something on the Reddit asking for someone to look at a deck I had constructed. And that's when I learned about the ban list. Um, so I was like, okay, so there are a lot of people online that play. So I was like, okay, well, this is interesting. So I started looking around and I eventually found the Wikipedia site called Locations. And I saw that this guy named Andrew Gellinger or something like that on the Wikia was in charge of the group. I also noted that the last time they had an event was 2015, which obviously was 3 years previous. So I said, all right, well, let me message this guy. So he said that he'd meet up with me at a store one weekend. So I show up to the store thinking, all right, I'm going to finally be able to play someone in person. The guy never showed up. Turns out he had no interest in playing the game whatsoever, which I thought was weird. So I was like, all right. He told me about this other person, Zen Lavender, who had been looking for people to play. By this point, I had already gathered a lot of Sequestria, a lot of the newer stuff, and I even had 3 Staphylus Econuses by this point. And I said, all right, well, let me message this guy. So I messaged Zen. I messaged Zen. Didn't hear anything back. So I was like, all right. So I tried again one day. And I was like, all right, I'm really looking for people to play. I messaged him. When he found out that I was actually interested in meeting up to play this game, and when we met up and I showed him all the DOE, all the Sequestria, he was blown at what had pretty much been released. So I found one person to play against. Well, before long, he started introducing me to other players in the area, like a friend of his named Novakun. Well, Novakun, and I have a little something to say at the end of the stream here about Novakun. But Novakun eventually joined in with us, and we started playing, and we started having a lot of fun playing ponies. Eventually, we got a few other people interested, and I started doing free drafts. Now, note, I do not recommend hosting a free draft for people. This was to encourage players to come in and play the game. So I did these 2 events, and we started getting more interest. And now we're on average 6 people strong, and on occasion up to 8. One draft, I think we had 8 people show up for one new player, which we had to show them how to play in the time slot we have. Well, now we have monthly tournaments every month. So that's kind of how I built it up. I looked for that one person who was really passionate about the game. And even if that's just you, just ask. Like, ask people where they are, where they play, even if they're in, like, the next town over. You know, see who's around. Just ask around anyone else. Because I think I had made, like, 60 different posts asking around. Anyone know anyone in Indianapolis? Anyone near Indianapolis? Anyone play in Indianapolis? And I eventually found people. So you just got to keep asking, because it's really challenging to build a group together. Now, if there's no one in your area, and you can confirm that there's no one in your area, maybe you just need to teach new people. It's actually right now better to go after newer players for the MLP CCG versus trying to bring in older players that have experience with it, because really we've been getting a lot of new players, and I would actually encourage bringing in new players and trying to convince the ones that had decided to quit maybe to come back a little bit. It might be a little bit more work on your part, but that's fine. You just have to be willing to go that extra mile to make posts, do things, actually put in the energy. Because you're not going to be able to get a group going if you don't have A, the determination, B, the passion, and C, the acceptance of failure. You basically need all the elements of harmony to be able to pull it off. You need to be loyal. You need to be generous. If you have to give out a promo that you would rather keep to convince someone to play, then you should do that. You need to, be willing to dedicate your time and be kind to people. You need to be able to be nice to people, especially if they're a new player. You want to be as nice as possible to them. And then, you need to be able to do your research. So, element of magic, which I've always associated with more like research. You need to be able to be honest with the new player. Say, hey, this is what the game's about. This is, if they're not a brony, then they're going to be harder to pull in. So the best way to do it is to not broadcast it as a brony game, but broadcast it as a really interesting game with very interesting, complicated mechanics that you think a Magic player would be into. So stuff like that. So that's kind of how I built the group up from zero, was with all these combinations of things. All right, we got like 3 minutes left in the stream, and I did want to bring this up. Novakun has had a terrible accident, and I wanted to say something last stream about it. The day that I broadcasted with Colorado Contraptions, if I seemed a little off than usual, I had just received news that day that my good friend Novakun, who drives every member of our group to pull, he's basically our only driver in the entire play group, which means 4 of our members rely on him, including myself, to get to each individual event. Well, we had just had our first local tournament in 3 years on a Sunday. And it was really a lot of fun. He was there. He had a great time. That night, a car had rammed through his bedroom and caught fire. Basically, he was injured, not badly, but everything in his room had been destroyed. In fact, we were just going through his cards today, and almost none of them survived, unfortunately. He lost some pretty rare cards, too. He lost, like, a soprano. He lost a lot of stuff, including the binder. His favorite playmat was heavily damaged, which is Queen Chrysalis. So Novakun has lost a lot, and not much of his cards actually survived. His deck managed to survive, but he lost a Staff of Sakanis in the flames. So there's one less Staff of Sakanis from Interplay. Sorry, folks. It's not his fault. A car ran into his bedroom. So I put a post out there asking anyone who'd be interested at Cider Fest at donating to him. He is the funniest member of our group. He's the most loved. He will be at Cider Fest. So you'll be able to see him. You'll be able to have a good time with him because he is hilarious. He definitely keeps the light in our group. And he's what makes our group the group that it is, the group that I love. So I'm so glad he's coming to Continentals. But if anyone is feeling like they want to be Rarity and they want to be generous, please think of donating any SRs, URs that you possibly can to this beloved member of our group. You don't have to, but we would very much appreciate it. I just gave him a bunch of my SRs and URs today. We're trying to rebuild his collection. All his commons are gone. So I'm working with him on the commons, but if we could get people, other ponies, to be generous and lend this favorite of our personal community a hand. I've posted it onto the Facebook of Hey Cancer Lot. It was posted to the Central Illinois group. So please consider donating to a loved member of our community. We would greatly appreciate it. He lost a lot of stuff. And it's not just his cards. It's all his electronics, all his other stuff, everything. He lost his bedroom, essentially. So there was a lot of damage and everything. So I'm hoping that, because this is not something we can do alone. I'm asking on stream tonight if anyone's feeling like it. They don't have to. Now, please talk to me if you decide to do this. Please talk to me personally. I will be at Ciderfest and all. So, anyways, I just wanted to get that out there. I was going to talk about it last stream, but with Colorado Contraptions on the stream, it didn't feel like the right time. So I wanted to do it this stream. Otherwise, guys, if you guys have any final questions, anything at all that you want to ask me, like, what's my favorite food or something, which I'll tell you flat is sushi. My favorite food is sushi, not that I can afford it generally, but I do love sushi. So if you really want to get Andrada's good side, make a mental note of this. Buy him sushi. He will love you for all eternity. Otherwise, I think I pretty much covered probably what a lot of people were wondering about me and kind of where I'm going. A note to all my video game fans. I know I haven't posted a video game this weekend or in previous weekends. Please note that is because I am preparing for Ciderfest. There will be one hopefully next weekend of the new, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. The weekend of November 3rd is when I'm going to do that video. I do have a special game for you guys in mind, so watch out for that. If you're more into ponies, note that if you were feeling like you were missing 3 episodes of Blind Reactions, please note you are not missing anything. Okay, I am working on 3 reviews of 3 of the episodes before the finale. I'm working on reviews for those, trying to figure out the best way to do them. So those will be shorter videos. I will be reviewing those 3 episodes at some point. As far as MLPCCG goes, I will continue to stream at this time, or at 8 p.m. EST, into the future. I will be doing that. I will make sure to have those out. We will continue to do these podcasts at this time. I'm not changing anything. I like this time. It works. It's been working. Twilight would probably be very disappointed in me if I did change anything. Or Princess Luna probably wouldn't continue to consider marrying me, but Luna's my waifu. I'm just going to get that out there right now. But I am planning other things with other special guests potentially in the future. So I'm working on that. if you guys ever need to contact me, or if you ever want to get in touch, you can contact me through the Drata Arcana Gaming Facebook page, or you can email me at drata.arcana@gmail.com. Or you can comment on my YouTubes. I'll usually see it there. My YouTube channel is drata.arcana@gmail.com, or you could just look up Drata Arcana on YouTube. Also, if you're looking for previous episodes, they'll be on my YouTube as well as the Twitch. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. Oh, if a lot of you were wondering about today's card for the giveaway, please note that due to the incident with Novacune, my card stock is looking really low. So please know that those giveaways are actually going to stop for a little while until I can recover card stock. I'm sorry, I'd love to be able to give out more cards, but when you have a close friend that's had this happen, sometimes you just have to say, well, you have to give up on something that you maybe want to do. I apologize. It's nothing to do with you guys. Please note that I will work as best I can to recover some card stock at some point to potentially do giveaways again. Know that is in the works and in the future. Mostly because also a lot of people weren't commenting regularly. So I know I promised to do these every month. I'm so sorry. So please understand that I will get to them, but it'll take me another year before we could probably start doing it again. Sooner, depending on how things go. I did want to bring that up in this stream. But otherwise, guys, I will not be streaming next week. Next week I will have the vlog uploaded by Wednesday and edited by Wednesday. So it'll be up Wednesday the following week. And hopefully, if you're going to be at Ciderfest, I hope to see you there. And maybe we can get a game. Definitely should. Thank you, Fanman. You guys don't believe this, but I appreciate you guys way more than you guys probably appreciate me. If you're looking for hints and tips about Continentals, I highly suggest looking at Commentary's Magic stream tonight. So just to point that out, definitely check out that stream. I will see you guys in 2 weeks for a live stream, and at the end of, and look for my vlog of Ciderfest sometime Wednesday the following week after. And if you're at Ciderfest, maybe we can get a game. I'm always up for a game, whether it be casual, competitive, or whatever. I'm always up for a game. I'm always looking for them. So if you are at Ciderfest and you're like, oh, look, there's Drata Arcana from Drata Arcana Gaming. But he runs a stream. I'm not going to be able to beat him. Just play me. Just play me. It'll be a blast. I guarantee it. Anyways, guys, I'm going to get out of here. See you guys at Ciderfest, and take care. Bye.